no volatility in their success.
The selection show, 9 p.m. tonight for the women, 9:30 for the men. Notre Dame of late has had Duke's number. The Irish have won the last 5 against the Blue Devils. They won 15-12 back on April the 7th. And of course, the meeting prior to that on Championship Monday last May. Will Lynch at the faceoff X for Notre Dame. Cal Girard again taking the faceoff for Duke. The Blue Devils without their top faceoff man, Jake Naso, out for this ACC tournament. Girard, though, acquitted himself extremely well in Friday's win against Syracuse, but Lynch gets the first one.
And I stop him.
We saw it on Friday. Notre Dame in that game got goals from a defenseman, a faceoff man, an LSM, a short stick D-midi, and from its second and third midfields. Lynch is 2 for 2. Wearing number 40 today is Carter Parlett.
2 steps away from that slide man for Riley Gray that gets his hands open. That's just an adjacent pass, right? And it's great. It's all a function of Notre Dame's recognition.
9th of the season for Gray. Lynch and Girard battling at the X. It's won by Will Lynch, 3 for 3.
2 of those clams, though, won by Girard, right? That, to me, Lynch is obviously very good at the X, but it's his ability to
10 with the CJ Costabile goal in the national championship in overtime. We were on ACC PM the other day with Mark Packer and Taylor Tannenbaum talking about how we've seen Notre Dame take that last step where they were a program where in a lot of big games prior, they would stub their toe. To now
game, and athletically they're dominant, and a nice compliment to the first group.
Notre Dame has won every face-off so far. This one out of bounds, and it will go to Duke. So the first face-off win for the Blue Devils. And you got to remember, Duke is without Jake Naso, who is an All-American caliber face-off man. It's precautionary. They expect him back next weekend for round 1 of the end.
And Chris Kavanaugh. What we saw Friday night from Notre Dame was the most impressive performance all season. I think we're at a different level right now.
Sure feels that way. Lynch knocked it out of bounds. Duke ball.
Now, if you're Duke, they've transitioned to taking the first shot, not the right shot. Right? You're comfortable with Brennan O'Neill trying to make something happen, but play some offense.
Down to Maryland Payne.
Making it a harder second slide for Notre Dame to get on his hands, and then the picture-perfect release to the top portion of the cage.
Can Duke get a chance here in the waning seconds? McAdory, 3, 2, and a bouncer that skips wide of the net.
We don't gain separation on a exchange pass. So those were 2 turnovers that sometimes, you tip your cap to your opponent, but sometimes it's on you. Those 2 were on us.
Thank you for the time.
You got it.
Now the Blue Devils, 1 goal in that opening quarter, 7 shots. Brennan O'Neill.
Playing for the transfer from Brown has made such an impact for this Notre Dame Irish team.
New faceoff man for Duke, Luke Engelke. It doesn't matter. Lynch wins another. Now, Will Lynch, going into championship weekend last year, was below 50% at the faceoff X. Went 60% in the semifinal and the final. 7 of their 12 shots. Lynch wins another faceoff, and that's been part of the problem for Duke. John Danowski told Maryland Payne after the first quarter they've got to get better at faceoffs. Again, without Naso, you do cut Duke some slack. Naso's a game changer at the faceoff X. You're running out Engelke. You're
more often than not, like, okay, that's what you're going to have to do to beat us. Notre Dame's comfortable. Right, but the difference when you watch Notre Dame, when they're getting shots, it's 5 yards closer. That doesn't work. Their spacing's just been better.
Procedure call against Duke. Cloud cover has started to resume here at Dobson. It's a part of his game from his freshman year now until his senior year. He's gotten better and better as a passer. every year. And when you look at his raw numbers this year, they don't really jump out at you. 14 goals, 10 assists for a guy who is a first-team All-American midfielder. But then when you talk to coaches and you turn on the tape, Matt, how many times is he involved in the hockey assist? He's getting a short stick. He moves the defense, and he opens up things for guys like Taylor, McLean, and obviously the Kavanaughs.
And Notre Dame forces more slides, particularly on.
So Brennan O'Neill gets his first goal. 6 shots. That one on an empty net. Face-off now won by Duke.
Right, so it's, I get where you're at from a mental, from a psyche perspective, but not winning faceoffs, 11 of 15 for Notre Dame at the X.
Lynch and Girard has it now. He gets out of the ambush. I go back, Maryland in 2017, Matt, remember where they supposedly had all sorts of issues at the
Blue Devils within 4 once again.
9-5 the score now. And Girard finding some mojo at the X. Young man from Long Island, the freshman.
Girard making some adjustments. He's been battling at the draw.
Lynch wins another clamp. All right, Matt. Notre Dame is going to go into this NCAA tournament as the favorite to repeat.
Lines. I do think if you're Notre Dame, potentially time to look to rest, or at least drain the shot clock down on offense to have this game go by quicker at this point. Seems to be like, barring injury, you know, I'd imagine if a similar area, because it allows one man to guard 2. But nonetheless, Duke gets one on the board.
Technically, it's an even strength goal. 11-6. There is a chance, depending on how far Duke plays into May, that O'Neill and Dyson, in some order, could leave as the top 2 goals. 9th goal of the season. He had 3 points Friday. Now, that was the most impressive part about Notre Dame's Friday win against Virginia. 18 goals, 14 of them came from players outside. You know, Matt Cavanaugh, when he was there, getting Notre Dame to championship weekend a couple of times. Remember how close they came against Duke in that final in 2014. Some really, really good teams with he and Sergio Perkovic. And one of the great scenes from championship weekend last year after Notre Dame won its first
West is remarkable, right? Like, you get more power, you're more accurate. The goalie's on his heels rather than stepping out. It's all those little things that people don't think about that make the difference as a shooter. Like, you have to bend into the cage if you're sweeping to the middle.
Us expected 3 blowouts this weekend. And that's what we've seen. Friday, Notre Dame spanked Virginia. Duke did the same to Syracuse, and now Notre Dame laying it on Duke here in this ACC final. 8 different goal scorers for Notre Dame today. They had 14 on Friday night.
How disappointing.